lost a tribe. One of their number was butchered. This is a wake. He's gone. He's gone from here. The evil is gone. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen. This week we are ranking the Halloween franchise. That's right, we got a new film this year, Halloween 2018. So I felt it was appropriate to rank the franchise. I did one a couple years back, but now that we have a new film, and who knows, maybe my choices have changed over the years. But at any rate, let's get to it, shall we? And we're going to start with the absolute bottom of the barrel, and that is Halloween Resurrection. No surprise there. The film was directed by Rick Rosenthal, who also directed Halloween 2 from 1981. And I just hate this film. I feel like it was a cheap cash grab on the name of the Halloween franchise. And it just feels like a real B-movie. I can't stand any of the characters. They're just disposable. Terrible acting. I feel like they disrespected Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Laurie Strode, by killing her off so briefly. You know, it felt like there was no weight to it, no emotional drama, you know. And that's just not the way. She deserved a lot better than that. And I also hate the Blair Witch style, the Blair Witch concept of the web series, you know. Screwing around in Michael Myers' house there. And I can't stand the Busta Rhymes character and this trick or treat, motherfucker. I can't stand that. Drives me nuts. The worst, the most hated character in the Halloween franchise, definitely. There's a cold place in hell for you, Busta Rhymes. At any rate, let's get to the next one, shall we? And that is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 from 2009. This is the sequel to his remake from 2007. Now, the reason we had to have a remake is because of Resurrection. And this is the sequel, which I feel takes a huge dump on everything we love about the Halloween franchise, especially the Dr. Loomis character. I just cannot forgive that, turning Dr. Loomis into a douchebag, you know, come on. All he cares about is cashing in on his whole experience with Michael Myers and Laurie Strode and all that. All he wants to do is come out with a book and make a lot of money. And that's just not Dr. Loomis, you know. He's not an a-hole. He is our hero. He is the hero of the Halloween franchise, and you turn into some asshole. I also hate the language in the film, the over-the-top language. You hear the F word probably 1,000 times. It's just ridiculous. Nobody talks like that, and nobody curses that much. I mean, come on. I just couldn't stand it. And I didn't like the whole hobo look of Michael Myers. It's just weird, you know. And the whole thing seemed like a music video at times, like one of White Zombie's music videos or something, you know. It's weird, you know. I do appreciate that he was trying to do something different. It just came out wrong, you know. I don't like that he has to have his wife in every single movie, and I hate the whole dream sequences with the white horse and all that. Just a terrible film. Now we're going to get into some films that I enjoy. So those are the two that I hate. Now we're going to start talking about films from here on that I enjoy. And the next one is going to be Rob Zombie's first take on Halloween from 2007. Now there are a lot of things I like about the film and a lot of things I dislike. It's kind of uneven. But there were things I enjoyed. Like, I enjoyed his take on Michael Myers. Michael Myers was scary again. He was vicious and brutal. And I do enjoy looking into his childhood background, you know. I did enjoy seeing how Michael became who he is and how he became evil, growing up with the horrible parents and a whole horrible upbringing, you know. And it was interesting. I thought it was something different that he brought to the story from 1978. He elaborated a bit And that's why you do a remake. I mean, add something a little different, and I enjoyed that. What I didn't like is the over-the-top language once again, and a lot of the dialogue is terrible, and a lot of the acting is really campy. I didn't like all the cameos that kind of take you out of the film. Oh, there's that guy from Dawn of the Dead. Oh, there's that guy from this, you know. It takes me out of the movie. But at any rate, I did enjoy it overall, but it's no way near the masterpiece that the original classic is, of course. Doesn't even belong in the same sentence, you know. But, that being said, I did enjoy it overall. Next up is the film that is very divided and is probably the most divisive in the series, and that is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. I will say I did enjoy the character of Connell Cochran as played by Dan O'Herlihy. I thought he was a great villain. And I thought the film was a nice alternative to the Michael Myers saga, even though it has nothing to do with Michael Myers. I thought that was kind of a ballsy choice, and in the end it didn't quite work for them. It was a bomb at the box office. But over the years it has definitely built a cult following. A lot of people really have come to enjoy the film. And I do enjoy it, but I certainly don't think it's the masterpiece that a lot of people think it is, you know. I just thought it was good, campy, fun time, you know. And it was a nice little alternative to the Michael Myers saga. I will say Tom Atkins' character I did not buy as a doctor, you know. I know a lot of people like him, but I just didn't care for his character in the film, you know. He was pimp, though, with Stacey Nilkin's character there. But yeah, Halloween 3. Next up, a film that has grown on me over the years, and that is Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. So I feel about this film a lot of people feel about Halloween 3. This one has grown on me over the years. When I went to see it originally in theaters, I hated it. I almost walked out. But over the years, I have grown to like it, especially after they released the producer's cut, which I feel is superior to the theatrical cut. I feel like the producer's cut got a lot of things right that the theatrical cut didn't. I feel like it made more sense, especially the whole Cult of Thorns storyline. There's a lot of mistakes I feel they made with the theatrical cut that they make up for in the producer's cut. Because in the producer's cut, you see Michael with the cult, standing there with them, and it's like, oh, he is part of it, you know. But in the theatrical cut, you never see him with them. It's like, was he ever really a part of it? And then you see him just knock them all off and murder every single one of them in that brutal scene, you know. It's like, okay, was he ever part of it, or what? What is this, you know? It's very confusing, and I feel like it corrects a lot of the mistakes in the producer's cut. And I also like the atmosphere in this film. It's very well shot, it's very dark and sinister, it's got a great mood to it. And I feel like Michael was more brutal, and there's some nasty kills in this one. And I like that we got to see the final performance of Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis. And again, the producer's cut, we get to see more of that. So I enjoy it. So yeah, I got some issues with it. I thought the acting was very wooden and stiff and not very good. I didn't care much for Paul Rudd's character either. But overall, I've grown to like it over the years after multiple viewings. Next up is Halloween H2O. That's right, starring the return to the franchise of Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode in the iconic role. And it was really great to see her back. I thought she did a great job. And it's got probably the most thrilling act of the entire franchise, I would say. And the way it ended was great, and I felt like that should have been the end of the franchise, you know. A couple things I didn't like about it was that it felt too much like Scream. Now, Scream was a really popular series that kind of brought back the slasher genre. And a lot of other films kind of copied that, and Halloween kind of copied Scream, you know, which is kind of unfortunate. Halloween shouldn't have to copy any other series. Halloween is the original that so many other films are influenced by, you know, and here it was kind of the other way around. But at any rate, I did enjoy the film. I didn't like the Michael Myers character as much. I thought Chris Duran's performance was kind of weak as Michael. Michael felt kind of weak, you know. And Michael's supposed to be a badass, like, murderer, you know. And here he seemed kind of like a little too human. But I also really liked the direction. It felt like a Halloween film. And I liked the score. And I liked the performances. So that's it for Halloween H2O. And next up might be a little controversial, and that is Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. A lot of people hate this film, you know, it gets a lot of heat, and I don't really understand why. I feel like this is the most underrated film in the franchise. There's a lot of good stuff in there that I think people miss out on. A lot of good, scary scenes. Like especially the scene where Michaels chases Jamie Lloyd into the laundry chute, and he's like stabbing brutally into the laundry chute. Is a very tension-filled scene. And I also love the performances of Danielle Harris and Ellie Cornell, and of course Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis once again. There are some negatives, of course, you know. Ellie Cornell is kind of picked off quite early in the film, and then we got her replacement Tina, played by Wendy Kaplan, and a lot of people really don't like her character. I thought she was quite annoying too, but at least she did have some personality. Some of the other actors in the film are just terrible, you know, completely disposable. But at any rate, there are some good kills. It's got some good atmosphere to it. It's got some nice, scary scenes. And I enjoy it. And I think it makes a good companion piece to the next film, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. So it was great to see Michael Myers make his big return to the big screen after they completely ignored him in Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. And that film bombed, so they made the decision to bring Michael back, and it was a hit, you know. People did want to see the return of Michael Myers, and I thought they did a great job. I thought Donald Pleasance has one of his best performances as Dr. Loomis. It's great to see him back, although it's kind of crazy that he survived what happened at the end of Halloween 2, but he's back, and he's great, and he's hunting down the Shape once again, and he's awesome. And we also had a really welcome addition to the franchise in Danielle Harris playing Jamie Lloyd, the niece of Michael Myers. You also had Ellie Cornell, who is almost like the Laurie Strode girl next door character. She's great. And I feel that's what makes this better than the standard slasher film, is the performances. I think otherwise it might have been kind of a generic slasher, but the performances bring it above that. And the performances, I feel, make the movie good. And like I said, I love watching 4 and 5 back to back. I feel like they go hand in hand. So the next one is going to be, drum roll, Halloween 2018, in at number 3. That's right, folks, the new film. I really enjoyed the new film. Gets so many things right. I love the tension, I love the mood, the atmosphere, I love the direction, the cinematography. I love the performances of Jamie Lee Curtis once again as Laurie Strode. I feel this is the best performance of her career. There's certain points where she just gets me, she tugs at the heartstrings, you know, when you really feel the trauma that she went through in the classic from 1978, and how that has affected her 40 years later, and how she's been preparing this whole time for Michael's eventual escape, or what she believes he's going to escape, you know. She's armed herself with a whole arsenal of weapons, you know. She's ready. and she's badass. And I also love the family dynamic of it. Her relationship with her daughter Karen, played by Judy Greer, and the granddaughter, played by Andy Matichak. I just love seeing the three generations of Strode women. It's very interesting. And another thing they get beautiful is Michael. Michael Myers is devastating in this film. He's amazing. He's terrifying. He's brutal. There's some of the nastiest, brutal kills in this film. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And I have to say, I did kind of like that he was a blank shape again, and that he had no real connection to Laurie other than her getting away from him in the original 1978 film. That's the only real connection he has to Laurie in this film. And they did make it work, even though I was sad that they were not paying attention to Halloween 2 from 1981. I wanted a sequel to Halloween 2, but at any rate, they did a great job in the film, and I really enjoyed it. But there were a few issues that keep it from being higher on this list, and that being the doctor character. I hated that character. He didn't need to be in the film at all. The film would have been better without him. And there's also a few characters that I didn't like as well that were just there to be a plot device, and they annoyed me. So with that being said, this is one of the best sequels, and I did enjoy it. Next up, you guys have heard me talk ad nauseum about this film, and that is Halloween 2, 1981. Yes, directed by Rick Rosenthal, co-written by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill once again. Just an amazing sequel, in my opinion. You had Donald Pleasance returning as Dr. Loomis. You had Jamie Lee Curtis returning as Laurie Strode. You had Charles Cyphers returning as Sheriff Lee Brackett. You had Nancy Stevens returning as Nurse Marion Chambers. You had a lot of the same look and feel as the original 1978 classic. And some great new additions. You had some cool new characters that I enjoyed, and a new direction as well, with the brother and sister angle. The revelation that Michael Myers is Laurie Strode's brother. I thought that was really interesting, and brought a different kind of concept to the film, and I enjoyed it. But at any rate, I love Dr. Loomis in this movie. He's amazing, and I think this film is still really scary, and Michael Myers is the best in the franchise, in my opinion. Dick Warlock's performance is so creepy, terrifying. I mean, even when you just see him walking down the hall of the hospital, it's creepy as hell. It gives you chills, And there's so many iconic shots, too. The cinematography is brilliant at times, Especially the scene in the hot tub, when he creeps up behind Nurse Karen there. And she's like kissing him. She thinks he's her boyfriend, Bud, there. And dunks her head right in the scalding hot tub, and you see her face, like the flesh burning right off her face. It's nasty, it's brutal, and it's incredibly well directed. And there's so many great scenes, like at the end when Laurie shoots Michael right in both eyes, and you see the blood, looks like tears going down his face, and then he puts his hand over his head. What an amazing shot that is. It's so iconic. Just an awesome, awesome sequel. It's my favorite horror sequel of all time. And of course, what is going to be number one? Gee, I wonder. Of course, it's going to be the classic Halloween from 1978 from John Carpenter. Definitely in at number one. John Carpenter's Halloween. Just everything about this film is amazing. I love the slow burn build up, the tension that mounts throughout to an absolute crescendo at the end there. Amazing final act. Michael Myers is just terrifying as the boogeyman, the Shape. Nick Castle does an amazing job, as well as several other people that play Michael in the film. And everyone involved with the film gives it their 100%, and it really shows. Amazing performances by Jamie Lee Curtis and PJ Soles and Nancy Loomis, and of course Dr. Loomis